I'm sure I'm not the only one who has been frustrated with the Supreme Court where the Second Amendment is concerned, particularly lately. They have denied cert in a number of cases, some of which I was really hoping they would take, as I'm sure we all were, and they didn't. And yet today's decision with Smith & Wesson versus Mexico is very interesting. And I don't know who wrote it. It just says the opinion of the court. I can't find anywhere where it indicates which of the justices wrote this. I've seen several social media influencers ascribe it to one justice or the other. I don't know. And I'm sure that somebody has called your attention to this particular section already. I've been working, so I haven't had a chance. I've taken a break here and read the decision real quick. But this I find very interesting. And if you want to read it, you can download the decision. I'll see if I can find a link, and I'll put it in the description for you. And then look on the bottom of page 17, and then from the top to about the middle of page 18. So I'm going to read directly from the decision here because I find the fact that this verbiage actually appears inside a Supreme Court decision quite encouraging. Here we go. Mexico's allegations about the manufacturer's design and marketing decisions add nothing of consequence. As noted above, Mexico here focuses on the manufacturer's production of military-style rifles, or military-style assault weapons. I'm sorry, it says. I just hate that term, so I try to avoid it. Among which, the decision says, it includes AR-15 rifles, AK-47 rifles, and .50 caliber sniper rifles. But those products are both widely legal and bought by many ordinary consumers. And then in parentheses, the AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the country. Wait, what? That argument is used by me all the time. It's used by attorneys in court all the time. It's used by, by Chuck Michel and Eric Pratt and all kinds, the Second Amendment advocates and Second Amendment advocating social media influencers and YouTubers and whatever. But to actually read that in a Supreme Court decision, to me, is incredibly encouraging. Again, Mexico is focusing on, according to this decision, military-style assault weapons, among which it includes AR-15 rifles, AK-47 rifles, .50 caliber sniper rifles, whatever that is. But those products are both widely legal and bought by many ordinary consumers. The AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the country. And the decision goes on to say, the manufacturers cannot be charged with assisting in criminal acts just because Mexican cartel members like those guns too. The same is true of firearms with Spanish language names or graphics alluding to Mexican history. Those guns may be coveted by the cartels as Mexico alleges, but they also may appeal, as the manufacturers rejoin, to millions of law-abiding Hispanic Americans. That leaves only the allegation that the manufacturers have not attempted to make guns with non-defaceable serial numbers, but the failure to improve gun designs in that way, which federal law does not require, cannot in the end show that the manufacturers have joined both mind and hand with lawbreakers in the way needed to aid and abet. Wow, that's just really cool. Now look, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know, what do you do with this? I'm sure that people will say, well, look, the Supreme Court is on the side of getting rid of assault weapons bans or getting rid of bans of semi-automatic rifles like that. I don't know that that's the case. I think whoever wrote this, whichever justice penned this, was simply stating points of fact. It is a fact that Mexico was going after AR-15s, AK-47s, and .50 caliber rifles. It is a fact that those rifles are purchased by many law-abiding citizens in the United States. It is a fact that the AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the country. So they're just stating facts there, but the fact that they it's in the decision, I think, hopefully allows attorneys in the future on the side of the Second Amendment to point to this decision and say, well, see, the court has already decided and already settled in a decision which I believe was unanimous. So it's not going to be easy for the liberal wing of the court to say, well, no, they're not really the most popular, when if it's a unanimous decision. No, you folks already agreed that it is. So I think that settles the argument from a Supreme Court perspective, I hope, that AR-15s, AK-47s, and .50 caliber rifles are legitimate products that Americans buy, so much so, and that Americans like and that they use, so much so that the AR-15 itself, according to the United States Supreme Court decision in Smith & Wesson Brands, Inc. versus Estados Unidos Mexicanos, it is the most popular rifle in the United States among citizens. I suspect that right there that I'm looking at on that page is huge. And I suspect that it's a bigger deal than we think it is. But again, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the conversations I might have with Chuck Michel and other attorneys like that to find out. But that's just from a layman's perspective. I'm quite excited about that. I'm hoping that this means, as Justice Kavanaugh seemed to kind of allude to the other day, that the court does want to take an assault weapons ban case and finally settle it. And they're just waiting for it to the lower courts to percolate. That term just drives me cuckoo. I mean, I don't know how much percolation we actually need. Can we finally decide this? It's obvious that the court at least understands some basic truths about these rifles that we've been trying to make sure they understand for quite some time. Well, in any case, a great decision, I think. Super job from the Supreme Court, and I find this section in particular super encouraging. I hope you do too. What a great thing to happen right before we get to Friday and the end of the week. Have a great week, and thank you again for all of your support of Gun Guy TV. I'm super, super grateful. Stay safe.